Hey everybody, Frank Kern here, and welcome to today's whiteboard workshop. This is going to be an incredible workshop, and the reason why is several-fold. First of all, I'm going to give you the same experience that you would have if you were a client that were coming to this very office to sit in here right now and have me whiteboard out their business paying $35,000 a day. Usually what happens is a client comes here and they say, Frank, how can we increase revenue in our business? Of course, that's what everybody wants to do. And another thing they want to do is not just increase revenue, but to do it predictably and consistently. And here we have developed a way and a system really to make that happen for all types of businesses. So I'm going to diagram out exactly how we do it and how we do it for our clients here on this whiteboard for you, with hopes that you can model our approach and see some pretty good results when you test it out in your business. Now, we're also going to be covering some very new, groundbreaking stuff. One of them is a method of marketing that I like to call behavioral dynamic response marketing, which I know is a mouthful. Here's what that means. It means that now, dramatically unlike your competition, you can deliver customized personal sales messages to your prospects based on how they behave. So you know how your competition, someone will opt in on their list and they'll get like this same series of emails and everyone gets the same stuff? You can now change the marketing message that your customers and clients and prospects see based on what they're doing, based on the actions that they're taking. It's almost like your prospects can choose their own marketing adventure. Remember those books when we were kids where you could choose your own adventure? That's kind of like what your prospects can do. We've seen this in our business cause sales, conversions, and revenues to just take a hockey puck-like growth curve straight through the roof. So we're going to be showing you exactly how to do that. So before I diagram this out for you, there are three things that I want you to understand. Everything I'm going to show you is based on three critical elements that make it work. The first one is contingencies. If you want a challenge, try to remember how to spell contingencies while shooting a video, right? Here's what contingencies means. Don't you think that it's true that not every single person who opts into your list is going to buy? Of course, right? And don't you think that it's true that not every single person who opts into your list is going to take action like watch your first video, download the thing they opted in for, click on the links that you email them? Of course. Well, where your competition is failing is they're treating every single customer the same. What we're going to do, what I'm going to show you how to do, is to develop contingencies. So if they don't buy, or if they don't take immediate action and watch the video you want them to or whatever, we're going to build a backup plan to treat them differently to get them re-engaged. That's thing number one. Thing number two is dynamic. Remember, the rules have changed. We cannot treat every single prospect the same. As the internet develops, you're going to see it will be increasingly easy to get people on a list just by giving away free stuff, right? However, that doesn't mean that it's going to be easier to get money. In fact, it means it's going to be harder, because if it's easy for you, it's easy for your competition to get them as well, and the messaging is going to get more and more cluttered. So we must treat everybody differently. That means the days of having the exact same funnel for every single person that comes in are gone. We can't do that. The good news is you can dynamically change the marketing funnel and the marketing message based on what they do. I'll show you how these work together as we're diagramming this out. The third is a concept that I call individual universe. And this is weird. I'm going to abbreviate it here. So this stands for individual universe. And here's what I mean. Because of what I'm about to share with you, every single prospect can actually be living in what I call his individual universe as it relates to you. That means as he comes into your funnel, we can dynamically create a custom experience that is individual for him. The videos that he sees will be individual for him. The emails he sees will be dynamically changed, individually, specifically, and customized just for him. And this is a really big and strange concept to grasp, which is why we're going to depend on this great big whiteboard here. So with all of this in mind, let me walk you through how it works. So here's what we do. I start out with your classic opt-in page that gives away something for free. You know, I'm going to show you the exact specific opt-in page that I'm talking about right now, so you can see it on your screen. And what I do is I'm simply driving traffic to this opt-in page using PPC ads. My favorite medium right now is Facebook. You could use anything: Google AdWords, Yahoo, Bing, Facebook, banner ads, media buys, it doesn't matter. I'm simply advertising cool free stuff, right? So nothing new, nothing groundbreaking there. I'm driving traffic to this opt-in page. The concept behind this opt-in page is making this thing convert right around 30%, which is good. Now here's where we immediately start to differentiate from everybody else. What I'm going to walk you through right now is a campaign structure that is an automated product launch. That means every single person who comes in here experiences their own personal, unique product launch, complete with the countdown, the pre-launch videos, and the scarcity. And guess what? It's all real. So when it says it's expiring, it really expires, right? But how do I do that? And how do I turn these guys into sales? Well, first of all, the way this is different is immediately when people opt in here, what we're doing is we have something called a liquidator offer. Now, this is a one-time offer for people to buy something, and the whole purpose of this isn't really to make money or to turn a huge profit. It's to simply make some sales to recuperate some of the cost of this traffic, right? And this guy is converting right around 0.75%, and it's selling something that is $194. Now let me tell you why this is different from what you've probably seen before. Now everyone's heard of this one-time offer thing, the classic internet marketing OTO from the early 2000s that became very, very popular and then stopped working because everyone did it. That's not what this is. The liquidator offer is content that's positioned as a tutorial, and it really, really is a tutorial. So they're opting in for valuable information here. This page, I'll go ahead and show the page on the screen for you so you can see. Notice at the top of the page it says, hey, right here, it says, I've got the video that you requested on the way. Meanwhile, watch this, right? This video on this page is actually a tutorial. So I'm immediately delivering value here. I'm teaching them something, and it's relevant to what they opted in for, but it's not the actual thing they opted in for. At the end of that tutorial, I'm making an offer. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting a little bit of money to recuperate this ad cost, to just make this a lot more profitable right from the get-go, and I'm also building goodwill with the customers. Now, after this happens, whether they buy or not, they are now on my list. And here's where it continues to be different. Okay, so they've opted in, they've seen the liquidator offer, some of them buy, some of them don't. What happens usually when you opt in to any sort of sequence? Typically, everyone's going to get the exact same treatment, right? I'm sure you've done it before. You've probably built sequences like this. Here's where this becomes significantly different. The next phase of this is something that I'm going to call here an engagement sequence, right? What this is doing is it's sending a series of emails that are designed to get the user to simply click and go watch the very video that they opted in for, right? So if this page says, hey, free video reveals cool stuff, this is the email series that says, hey, here's the video that you opted in for, go check it out. And it's designed to get them to click. So I'll just put C here for click. Now here's what's interesting. Go back in your system, if you have this ability, and check your stats and tell me how many people that opt in actually go watch your very first piece of content that you're advertising, or go download the free thing that you've advertised for them. Chances are, not all of them do it. Chances are, right around 50% of them do it. So check this out. This is a series of 4 emails that are all designed to do the same thing. That says, hey, here's that thing you opted in for. Hope I enjoy it. Here's where you can get it, right? And they're going to get one every day. Now, if they click on email number 1 on the first day, and they click it here, they're going to go to video number 1, right? So they're going to see the first video, and then they're going to be placed into the sequence that shows them videos 2 and videos 3. So this is your classic pre-launch sequence. The only thing we're doing here is we're restricting this content. We're restricting their ability to see this content until they actually engage and click the first one. Now, why would we do that? Remember earlier I said we got to make everything individual. We got to create an individual marketing universe for these people. We have to make everything dynamic, and we have to build contingencies. If we know, and you can validate this with your own stats, I'll bet you, if we know that not everyone who opts in is actually going to click the very first piece of content they opt in for, what does that tell us? It means that we have a failure point in a funnel for which we must build a contingency. So have a look at this. If they don't click, so this will be a question mark. So this is representing, are they clicking or not? If the answer here is no, and they don't click, I'm going to put them in another campaign. I'll walk you through this campaign in a minute, right? But notice now we're already being dramatically different. We have our liquidator offer that's a tutorial. Now we have an engagement sequence that's actually going to segment them and treat them differently based on their behavior. Remember, dynamic behavioral response marketing. It's the way of the future, I promise you. Okay, but let's assume, we'll leave this alone for a minute. I'll show you what we do in a minute. But let's assume now that they click. Well, immediately upon clicking, they're going to see video number 1, and then they're also going to be placed in this sequence that gives them video 2 and video number 3. So they see video 1, and it's going to wait a day. It'll show them video 2. It'll wait a day. It'll show them video 3. Just like your classic autoresponder. But notice now how this becomes different. So on your screen, you're going to see the page for video number 1. This is the exact same page that they're seeing. Now, you don't think you can see it on their screen, but on that page, there's a link to something called the early bird list. Because remembering, this is an automated product launch. Now, what the early bird list does is it says on all of these video pages, so on video number 1, video 2, video number 3, this classic launch formula, right? They see a Goodwill video that teaches them some cool stuff, and then it says, hey, we're opening soon. Where this becomes really cool is on every one of these video pages, there's a link to where people can join an early bird list. And the pitch is, hey, we're opening soon. There's going to be a lot of people who want this. If you'd like early access, click here and you can join the early bird list. That's all it says. As a matter of fact, I'll flash the early bird page on your screens. What you're seeing on their screen right now, or on your screen rather, is the same page that they see that they opt into. Now, if someone opts into the early bird list from any of these videos, we treat them differently. Here's where this becomes extremely cool. Remember, dynamic behavioral response. That is the name of the game. So if they opt into the early bird list, check this out. They're in another autoresponder for 1 day. They're going to get 2 emails. So they're going to email number 1 is going to send them to the video sales letter for this product with a countdown timer on it. And the email says, hey, you opted into the early bird list. I'm going to go ahead and give you early access right now. It's good for 24 hours. And guess what? It really is good for 24 hours. If they try to go to it after 24 hours, they don't see it, right? It goes away. So all of this genuinely deploys real scarcity. There's none of that fake scarcity, no shenanigans. It actually all works hands off on autopilot. So we send them this immediately, and then we wait 12 hours. While I'm writing, I'll show you the countdown page on your screen so you can see it. It's nothing too fancy. We'll wait 12 hours, and then we'll email them again. What we're seeing is about 10% of the people who opt in here are immediately buying, which is great. And guess what? If they try to click on it after the 24 hours, it says offer expired, and they're still going to get these 2. So genuinely only gives them that early access for 24 hours. So here's what happens. They've opted in, they clicked, right? They got 4 emails to click. On one of these emails, they decided to click. As soon as they click, they stop getting it. So if they click on day 1 here in the engagement sequence, they're not going to get email 2, 3, and 4 that says go click, right? It's going to now put them in this sequence. So they've clicked, they've opted in for the early bird, and let's just say they haven't purchased, right? Well, no problem. We're going to send them video 2, and then we're going to wait a day. We're going to send them video number 3. And what happens after video number 3 in any kind of product launch? That's right, cart open. Now, that means we're going to put them in the V, apparently, S is this way, sorry. It's hard to draw and talk at the same time. We're going to put them in the VSL sequence. So what this means is it's simply, hey, we're live, go here to get it. Now here's where this becomes amazing. The minute that they click here, our system sets 2 things. Cart open date, and it sets cart close date. What does this mean? Well, when they opt in for video 1, or rather when they click video 1, the system sets the cart open date, and you know how in a product launch, it'll say, hey, we open on whatever, July 97th. It actually does that in their email. So it says, okay, today is the 1st. This sequence is going to program their cart to open in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So all of the emails say, we're opening on the 4th, stand by, it's going to be open on the 4th. It's great. It dynamically changes this date in everyone's email based on the day that they click the sequence. So it is almost like you're sitting there creating an individual personalized product launch experience for every single person who opts into your list, and it's all custom just for them. But it also does something else. It also sets the cart close date. What makes product launches work so well? Well, number 1, these videos being good. Number 2, the scarcity. This deploys actual scarcity. So here's what happens. On the cart open date, it sends them an email that says, hey, we're open. Now remember, that's dynamically determined. So if they opt in on, if they click this on Tuesday, your launch is going to be open on Saturday. If they click it on Thursday, this is going to be on Sunday. All dynamic and custom for everybody. Okay, so cart's open. It says we're open, let's go. Does everybody buy on opening day? Of course not. What do we need to build? A contingency. So if they don't buy, we place them in something called a countdown sequence. This is the part that when a launch comes near the close, you know, you're on everybody's list, so I'm sure you've experienced this. When a product launch comes close to a close, it says, hey, registration closes on X date. This actually does that, but in real time and custom for everybody individually based on when they opted in. So this is going to give them the real close date specifically for them, and it's going to count down. So we have a series of 4 emails. Email 1, E2, E3, and E4. There are 4 emails in the sequence, and each one basically says, hey, we're only open for 4 more days. Here's a restatement of the value. Go here and order. And it sends them back to the video sales letter. If they haven't purchased, it waits a day and it says, hey, there's only 3 days left, restates the benefits, adds a bonus, and drives them to the video sales letter where they can buy. Then it says, if they still haven't bought it, says, hey, there's only 24 hours left, restates value, adds a second bonus, drives them to the video sales letter. And now, if they still haven't purchased, it says, hey, final notice, it expires at midnight or whatever time. It's all dynamically inserted in real time because we're calculating this automatically, adds another bonus, drives them to the video sales letter. At this stage, they have either purchased or not, right? So it doesn't matter what day this person opts in, everything here is happening dynamically and automatically. So he is in his own individual, customized marketing universe that's been created specifically for him. All of the dates are real. If he waits until after this day and tries to order, he'll see a sold out sign. The scarcity is genuine. So it's literally, you have the power of a product launch going on all the time. But we are not even remotely finished. Remember, we talked a lot about dynamic behavioral response here. We have it in several instances. Number 1, he has to engage and click to see the first video before he gets this, right? We dynamically set his countdown date if he opts into the early bird list, and we dynamically turn that ability to order early off if he doesn't act within 24 hours. We even wait 12 hours and remind him a second time. Then we dynamically do the countdown sequence. So there's a lot of dynamic stuff going on here. But remember, there's that other word I used at the very beginning, and that is contingencies. Every funnel has a failure part. Your competition is ignoring this. Guess what? The money's not in the people who buy today. The money is in the people who say no. Most people don't buy immediately, right? That's normal. People talk about a 10% conversion rate and they're like, this is great. What about the other 90%? Doesn't mean they didn't want it, just means today wasn't the right day. It means we have to build in contingencies. So here's contingency point number 1. Right here, we had that question. What happens if they're in the engagement sequence and they never click to go see the video they opted in for? And I know some of you might be saying, that's crazy. Of course they're going to click. Go back and check your stats. I'll bet only half of your guys are clicking. It's across the board. It's the craziest thing. So if they don't click, we're going to put them in an entirely different machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to draw out for you our contingency process, the first contingency process. And I'm going to do it in red so you can see that it's different. And I'm just going to move it down here a little bit more so it'll show up better on camera. Now, by the way, everything I'm showing you is what we're actually using right now in real time in this company to turn email subscribers into profit as quickly as possible while building goodwill with them. So just to refresh, the page that you saw here, this is putting people in an automated launch campaign for a product I have that's called mass conversion, right? If they don't engage and go watch video number 1, I'm going to put them in a separate campaign for a totally different product. That product is something called the Advanced Consulting class, and the campaign structure, totally different. This campaign is an automated webinar. So this is automated webinar for ACC. ACC simply stands for Advanced Consulting Class. Now, you've probably heard about automated webinars before, but you've never seen an automated webinar process like this. This is dramatically different. So let me show you how it works. The first thing that happens, they haven't clicked here, they haven't engaged, they haven't seen any of this stuff, right? They just opted in, they saw this, maybe they bought, maybe they didn't, and they've gotten some emails that said, hey, go click, they never click. We got to try a different angle. Clearly they want the end result, but this just didn't get them. So we're going to try them with the automated webinar. The first thing you do in this case is we have something that's called an invite sequence. An invite sequence is simply a sequence of 3 emails that say, hey, I'm holding a webinar. You might want to go register for it. So if they register on day number 1, they're not going to get these other 2, right? They'll only get the follow-up emails if they don't register. So what did I just say? If they don't register, what does that mean? It means we have a contingency point in this funnel as well where we can pick up extra revenue. So if they don't register, I'll just leave it here for now, we have another campaign. But let's stay focused on this one. What if they do register? Well, on your screen, I'll show you the registration page for the advanced consulting class. As you can see, it's nothing even remotely fancy. In fact, I could probably improve it. But this process is working pretty good, so maybe I won't mess with it. Well, so if they do register, the first thing they're going to see is, you guessed it, if you said liquidator offer, you're exactly right. I'm immediately going to present them with an offer to buy something that can help me recuperate this traffic cost once again as quickly as possible. And the format is exactly the same. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you on your screen right now the actual screenshot of this liquidator page. Now notice what happens here. This is different. First of all, the video in the liquidator offer is just like this one, a tutorial. In this case, this tutorial is helping them do something that's going to help them get more consulting clients, right? So this tutorial is helping them, and it is selling them something that is complementary of the very thing that the webinar is about, but it does not cannibalize the main product. It's just a little add-on that they might want. The focus of this isn't to get rich. The focus of this is to simply liquidate some of the ad costs. Now, interestingly enough, I ran a report last year. This little page brought us $100,000 in revenue. So that's a lot of ad costs recuperated. By the way, all of this is the child of paid advertising. We spend about $2,500 a day just on this funnel, advertising it, and it's making a positive return for us. So back to business. If they buy this, great. If they don't, no problem. It's just there. Incidentally, the other thing I want to show you about this is at the top of the page, you'll notice that we acknowledge that they registered. And we tell them, hey, I'm going to send you your webinar details in a couple minutes. Meanwhile, watch this tutorial. Now here's where this gets interesting. As soon as they register, they're going to get an email that drives them back to this page. So in this case, I'm taking 2 passes at trying to make this little sale. They get a little email that says, hey, before you attend the webinar, watch this tutorial. This tutorial is a video sales letter, right? So now we're going to wait a day, and we're going to put them in something that's called the indoctrination sequence. Now here's what's special about this indoctrination sequence. You might not have ever heard that term before. What is the bane of the automated webinar existence, or even any webinar existence? It's show up rate, right? People are showing up less and less on webinars. Well, the indoctrination sequence, I'll go ahead and label it here, is a sequence of 2 videos emailed to them before the webinar that does 2 things. Number 1, it resells them on attending the webinar. Number 2, it allows them to see and hear me so I can develop trust and camaraderie and goodwill with them before they show up on the webinar. Why would I want that? Well, if they already know, like, and trust you, before they show up to your sales presentation, what do you think the chances are that they will be more likely to buy from you on the sales presentation? Of course, right? Much greater. And what do you think the chances are going to be that they actually show up on the webinar if you develop and deliver to them good stuff before the webinar itself? So that's the purpose of this. Now, like I said, it's just 2 videos. The first one, I'll call this indoctrination video number 1, I1, is very simple. I'll show you a screenshot of it on the screen right now. And the purpose of this thing is simply to resell them. So it follows this format. I'll write it for you here. It is the what, why, right? So there's 3 W's, what, why. Basically this video says, here's what we're going to cover on the webinar. Here's why this webinar is different from other webinars you might have been on in the past. And here's why it's important that you attend. So all you're doing is reselling them and restating the value. This is maybe 5 minutes at the most. You're just being friendly, showing up, saying, hey, thanks so much for registering. Just out of respect for your time, I want to make sure you've registered for the right thing. Here's what we're going to be covering. Here's why it's important. Here's why it's different, right? It doesn't matter what order, but you just have to have your what, your why, and your why in there. Now, we're going to wait 1 day, and then we're going to send indoctrination video number 2, right? Now, indoctrination video number 2 is really, really critical. Every time someone registers for a webinar, they have doubts in their mind. They have skepticism before they even show up. And they're skeptical of 2 things. Number 1, what if this is going to be crappy, just like all the other webinars I've attended, right? Because remember, your competitors are getting their attention as well. Your competitors are probably doing the same thing everyone else does. And if your competitors are doing webinars, they're probably like everyone else's webinars and they probably suck. This means massive opportunity for you. So that's thing number 1 that the guy's worried about. Thing number 2 is he probably has a primary objection as to why he cannot get the result that you're going to be teaching him how to get on the webinar itself. This video helps him overcome that mental block, right? So I'm going to flash the screenshot of this video for you on your screen so you can see it. It's just me in front of a whiteboard of all things. And what I'm doing here is I am acknowledging their skepticism in themselves on the area of selling consulting. Remember, this is an automated webinar about how to get consulting clients. I know from interacting with my marketplace that their primary objection before attending the webinar is, Frank, okay, I like this concept, but consulting is usually pretty expensive, and it's hard enough for me to sell cheap stuff. How am I going to sell expensive stuff? So what I do in this video is I just teach them. I say, hey, listen, a lot of people are writing with this question. They're saying, how do I sell consulting? Isn't it kind of expensive? And it's pretty hard to sell expensive stuff, isn't it? And I teach them exactly the process that I use to do it. Now, what's happening here is I'm building massive goodwill with them. I'm overcoming that objection because by the time they watch this video, they're like, oh, dude, cool, okay, I feel pretty good about that. I'm ready to see the webinar now. I'm not freaked out. And I'm restating the value of the webinar. So it's accomplishing a lot of stuff in this sequence. So what this is doing is this is causing my attendance rate to go way up, and it's causing my conversion on the webinar itself to go way up because they already like me by the time they show up because I've already helped them. Remember, I told you at the very beginning of this workshop, everything we do is about goodwill. That means genuinely helping people, earning the trust, earning the business. Your competitors aren't doing it. Massive opportunity for you to do it. Massive opportunity for you to immediately rise to the top of the pile as the very best of the very best in your market, not by what you say, not by hype, but by what you do. But we're not done, all right? So they register here. I'll show the registration page again. Now, usually what happens is I always set my automated webinars to be 4 days from the date they register. So on that page, you'll see a date, right? Well, if they registered the next day, it would be a different date. It's always dynamically saying 4 days from today. So they register here. This is day 1. They get this day 2. They get this day 3. Day 4 is the day of the webinar. On the day of the webinar, I send them what's called, let me make this box a little better for you. There we go. I send them what's called a reminder sequence. And the reminder sequence is simply a series of 4 emails that restate the date. Well, it doesn't restate the date because it's today's date, but it restates the time of the webinar and gives them instructions on how to get on. People say, well, man, isn't that a lot of emails? And the answer is no. Listen, if people only paid as much attention to our emails as we think they do, we would all make much more money. They're busy. You know how many emails you get in a day. You're going to see one. You might not get to it. They need to be reminded 4 times. It's not overwhelming. It's not pushy. Just, hey, we're starting in a couple hours. Hope to see you then. Here's what we're going to cover. Restatement of benefits. Look forward to it. Always very, very nice. Now, here's where we begin to be dramatically different again from what everyone else is doing. Now, as you know, a webinar is going to have 3 categories of people. They're going to be the people who do not show, right? So they don't show up at all. They're going to be the people who leave early. And then they're going to be the people who see the pitch, but they don't buy. And of course, they're going to be the people who buy, right? Now, here's what's funny. Out there right now, there are God knows how many courses on how to sell better with webinars. Guess what? You can work until the cows come home and try every psychological trick, try every Jedi NLP hypnotization that you possibly can, tell stories, use pressure, use scarcity. You know what? Doesn't matter what you do. Most people who attend this webinar, they're not going to buy, no matter how good the webinar is. Because why? We're asking them to do something completely illogical on a webinar. We're saying, hey, I want you to make what might be a sizable investment to you right now from me, a complete stranger, on the internet, right? And people say, well, gosh, I'm only getting 1 or 2% conversion or 10% conversion on my webinar. Dude, you're lucky to be getting that conversion on your webinar. It's illogical for someone to do that. Now, here's what's different. Your competition is going to try to recover from this by sending them replays of the very same webinar they didn't buy from over and over again. You know what that's really doing to people? It's training them that, number one, they don't actually have to show up to the webinar, and two, it's driving them nuts. If they said no to that particular pitch the first time, you don't want to give them the same thing. It's like a little kid saying, can we go to Disney? Can we go to Disney? Can we go to Disney? You're going to want to be like, no, dude, we're never going to Disney, right? So it's the same thing. So let me show you how to overcome it. The money is in these people, right? So remember, the name of the game, dynamic behavioral response. We're treating all three of these categories differently. Our main focus is going to be on the people who saw the pitch but didn't buy. Why? Well, they got this, they responded, they registered, they watched these, they showed up, they watched the entire webinar. Do you think they're not interested in the topic? Of course they are. They just didn't buy. Maybe the phone rang. Maybe they just didn't want to make a decision today. They need an extra push. We have two choices. We can be pushy or we can pull them towards us. We're first going to start by pulling them through goodwill with something that I call the objection handling sequence. You know I'm running out of room, so here's what I'm going to do. Guys at home, this is a weird looking diagram, but just for the sake of not running out of room, here's our next step. You draw a giant curved line, you end up here. We have an objection handling sequence. What this is another series of videos. Now here's the thing. Like I said, they responded to this, they got your email, they registered, they've seen these videos, they sat through your webinar. Who knows, maybe that thing was 2 hours and they still didn't buy. Clearly they're interested, but they had what? They had a concern. They had an objection. Now your competition's just saying, no, you got to buy now, scarcity, 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 right? You don't want to do that. You want to be better. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what are those objections, and then we're going to make a video that overcomes their top two. So one video for each of their top two objections. So I'm going to show on your screen right now a little shot of my first objection handling video, and all these things do is they follow this format, right? So both videos, they acknowledge, I'll just say AK for acknowledge, then they give empathy. EMP stands for empathy, I guess that's how you spell it now, right? And then they teach. And then they pitch. So what this does is it allows you to follow this format. So what we do is the day after the webinar, instead of bombing them with replays, we go out and we say, you know what, thanks so much for joining us on yesterday's webinar. I really enjoyed teaching it for you. And I'm getting a lot of questions from people. And the number one question is this, and you tell them what the question is, and you say, I made this special additional training for you that shows you how to do it, right? So all you're doing is acknowledging a question, sending them to the video. The video says, same thing. Hey everybody, thanks so much for being on yesterday's webinar. By the way, I'm getting this question. That's acknowledge. If you have that question, I know exactly how you feel. That's empathy. I used to feel the same way, and here's what I found. And then you teach. You teach them how to overcome that problem. So I'll give you an example. In my consulting webinar funnel, this is happening right now. If someone doesn't buy on the webinar, so if they saw the pitch, they went through all that, but they didn't buy, I know that their first primary objection is probably going to be, Frank, I believe you. I believe that you can do this. But you know what? No one's ever heard of me. I don't have a big name in internet marketing. I don't have a big list. I'm not famous or whatever, even though I'm not really, but people think I am because I make videos, I guess. And it's a genuine concern. So what I do in this video is I teach them two selling models. I teach them the guru-centric selling model, which is what everybody uses and nobody likes and everyone hates. So you know those emails you hate where they're bashing you over the head? That's the guru-centric model. Then I teach them the customer-centric model. I teach them the whole sales process. This is like 20 minutes. It's nonstop teaching, nothing but goodwill. At the end of it, what am I in a perfect position to do? I'm in a perfect position to re-pitch the very product I offered on the webinar. So I transition by saying, so listen, thanks so much for watching this video, and obviously you're committed to getting consulting clients. You have a skill, you have the ability to genuinely help people, and that's why I think you're a perfect candidate for this class. Here's how it works. I restate the same pitch. Now, don't you think that's better than just sending them the replay? Of course it is, right? So we're able to drive people back to the order form. But what if they still don't buy? We wait a day. We send them objection handling video number 2. Now, this 2-part little process here, just 2 little emails going to these videos, dramatically increase the sales from this entire campaign. But did it get everybody? No, it didn't. So if they still haven't purchased, we put them in a countdown sequence. Just like the one in this auto launch. Remember when I told you in the auto launch, as soon as they go through this process, we set the cart open date, we set the cart close date. My system knows that as soon as they finish that webinar, it sets the expiration date. So it says you can only register up until this date, and then we start referencing that date here in this countdown sequence. So it's the same thing. Email number 1, 2, 3, 4. It says, hey, registration for this class is going to close on X date. It puts the actual real date in the email for them. And it says, here's a restatement of benefits, and by the way, we've added a bonus. Same thing, hey, only 72 hours left, puts the real date in there. Here's a restatement of benefits, and we've added another bonus. Hey, we only have 2 days left. Here's a restatement of the benefits, puts another bonus in there, and then the same thing, day number 4, final notice. What do you think happens if they try to go past day number 4 and they try to order? Exactly. The system changes it from the order page to a sold out page. It's genuine, real scarcity, right? So now what we've got is 2 massive campaigns all being deployed to this one guy that opted in right here, right? And it's all determined on his behavior. But remember, the word here is contingency. Let's go back to the auto launch. What happens if they don't buy here? Well, some people will, most won't, right? Is the money in the people who are immediately buying today, or the money in the people who don't buy today? The fortune, as they say, is in the follow-up, but the fortune is really in the dynamic behavioral follow-up. So here's what we do. If they don't buy from this automated launch campaign, we're going to deploy 2 more campaigns to them. Now, imagine I'm drawing a line all the way over here. I'm not going to draw it because I don't want it to look funny. So if they haven't bought from the automated launch campaign, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to be in their head. I'm going to say, okay, this person opted in here. They saw this. They clicked one of these engagement sequences. They saw video 1. They saw video 2. They saw the VSL. They saw the countdown sequence. They've been through a lot. Out of respect for them, I don't want to start pitching them all the time. So I'm going to put them in something that's called a goodwill campaign. This is a series of emails that drives them to beneficial content about an unrelated product or topic, right? So in this case, in my real-time funnel, what I'm sending them to right now is an article. So I wait a day or 2, and then an email goes out that says, hey, I wrote this article for you. It's called How to Create Content That Sells. If you've ever wanted to sell stuff to people without actually having to be salesy, you're going to love this. It just takes them to a blog post. It's a cool article. At the end of the article, they have an ability to register for an automated webinar for this product, right? So now I'm back to selling the same product. They've gone through this. I know they're interested in this product. I just missed something. I'm going to take another pass with an automated webinar, not for advanced consulting class, but for mass conversion. So if they register after reading that article, great, right? Now, if they don't register, I'm going to send them the article again. Then I'm going to wait a couple days, and I'm going to send them an invite sequence, right? Another series of emails that say, hey, I'm holding a webinar on this topic. Go register here. Now, some are going to register, and some what? Won't. That's another point of contingency right here, right? So I'll keep directing your attention down to this little box, the mystery contingency campaign, but we'll get to it in a minute. But what happens if they do register? Well, we take this exact same format and we plug in different content, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a liquidator offer, right? The page structure is exactly like the page I showed you the one earlier. Then we're going to have a different indoctrination series, right? I1, indoctrination video number 1. That's how you draw 1. Indoctrination video number 2. But they're different videos because it's a totally different webinar. Then we're going to have the webinar, well, then we're going to have the reminder sequence, right? And of course, this is all going to be a different date because it's dynamically created. Then we're going to have a completely different webinar, and they're either going to no-show, they're either going to leave early, or they're either going to see the pitch and buy or not buy. If they don't buy, we're going to put them in a different objection handling video series. And then if they still don't buy, we're going to put them in a different countdown series, right? And they'll either buy or not. So I know I breezed through that one fast, but it's the same campaign structure, just different content, just a different product. So all of these campaign structures, you can deploy them for all of your products. There's more to it than this. Remember, what do we have here? What's the magic words? Individual universe, dynamic behavioral response marketing, and contingencies. We have 2 contingency points here. 1, what if they don't register, right? Number 2, what if they don't buy? Guess what we've got? A third campaign structure. Now this third campaign structure is actually going to sell a totally different product. Now you don't have to make it sell a different product. You can make it sell whatever you want to. But the more products you have, the more enormous you can build this thing to be. So your prospect who opted in from this one single ad can be in a completely different universe of promotions at any given time based on what he does or does not do, which is awesome. So let me tell you about the campaign structure. It's called 4-Day Cash Machine 2.0. And it centers around a style of video sales letter that is a tutorial that teaches your audience something of genuine value. It makes an offer at the end, and it references a discount and a deadline. So you got tutorial, value, offer, discount, deadline. These are the 5 things you need to know about this type of sales letter. Now, to make it as simple as possible and to demystify this, I'll show you a screenshot of our page that does this. So on the screen right now, you see a screenshot of exactly what our page looks like. So that's the one thing that we really need to make this campaign work. And then, of course, the structure of the campaign. There are 2 parts to it. The first is an invite sequence. In this case, or you could also call it an engagement sequence. For clarity, let's call it an engagement sequence. And what this is doing is it's a series of 3 emails. And each email is simply saying, hey, I made this video for you. It shows you how to do X, Y, Z. I hope you can enjoy it. Go watch it here, right? And now it drives them to the click. Okay? Now remember, this video is a tutorial that genuinely teaches them something of value. So unless you're actually helping them here, this is going to backfire. You really must make all of your marketing valuable to your end user. So that's critical right here. Okay? So here's what happens. The minute they click this, they're going to see the video, right? So we're just going to represent, they're happy, they're watching this video, you're teaching them something cool, and then you're offering them a discount with a deadline. Now you notice from the screenshot, this also has a countdown timer on it, right? So now we have genuine scarcity. Now, if they buy, they will not get the sequence. If they don't buy, they're going to get the sequence. And the sequence is simply another countdown sequence. So again, we have a series of 4 emails. For some reason, I always use 4 days. I don't know why. I've just always chosen 4 days. I have no scientific reason why 4 is better than 5. Who knows? Missing link could be add another day. You never know. I always do 4 days, right? So it's the same structure as all of these other countdown sequences that I've shown you in all of these campaigns, except this one is simply referencing the discount and the deadline that you mentioned in this video, right? So they have that recency. They just watched this video, they didn't buy, they know there's an offer, they know there's a discount, they know there's a deadline, they see the countdown timer. So what this is doing is email number 1, it says, hey, in 4 days, this discount is going to go away. You're referencing the discount, you're referencing the deadline. You can add more bonuses if you want to. Email number 2, if they haven't purchased, they're going to get email number 2. It says, hey, in 3 days, discount's going away, references the deadline, drives them back to this page, countdown timer's still there, right? It remembers when they click the first time, so it shows that elapsed amount of time, so you're really showing this countdown timer. It's all real. Day number 3 says, hey, 48 hours left, discount, deadline. Add another bonus if you want to. Day number 4, final notice, it's expiring today, discount, deadline, add a third bonus. When this countdown timer hits 0, if they go to click it, it says sold out. It is genuine scarcity. So now what we have is this entire labyrinth of exquisitely detailed campaigns that dynamically market to your subscriber who opted in from this one little original ad. Way back here in the beginning of this whiteboard workshop, he opted into this one little simple page, and now he's in this completely customized universe that's going to dynamically change based on what he does and what he doesn't do. So what I've just showed you is part of our funnel that we're using today in real time. If someone opts in here for the mass conversion auto launch, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 different opportunities to buy different products from us at any given time, thanks to the fact that they are now in this completely customizable universe that is dynamically changing based on their behavior. All happening in real time, all happening completely hands-off. Now, so there's bad news and there's good news about this. I'll give you the bad news first. Bad news is this is extremely difficult to build, right? This is very, very complicated. It's very hard. It is, for lack of a better word, a total pain in the ass, right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat that for you. The good news is it's kind of like if you jogged a mile on a treadmill one time and then every single day, you got the health benefits over and over again from jogging that 1 mile, which I know is like a pipe dream. But in this case, it's actually real. Once you build something like this in your business, it's done. Each and every one of these campaigns is actually viewed, in my opinion, as an asset for the business that produces revenue in a predictable and consistent fashion, regardless of what I'm doing. Like right now, as I'm filming this for you, people are opting in here and they're experiencing this. For all I know, I'm making sales. Usually every single day, more sales come in than what we're spending on the ads here, right? So this is just a portion of what we have going on in our business. I would show you more, but I've run out of whiteboard, which is amazing to me because this is really, really a big whiteboard. Now let me share with you more good news. If you want to deploy the power of this in your business, but you don't want to go through the nightmarish headache of actually learning how to create all of this yourself, the good news is that myself and our team right here in this very office can build all of these campaigns and deploy them for your business for you. So let me tell you how that works. I've set aside some time for my office to personally design an advanced automated marketing campaign for you for free. And we begin by listening to you. We find out what your challenges are, what your sales goals are, and what you want to accomplish. And then we design a custom marketing campaign to get you there. And we do this by reviewing your current offer, analyzing your target customer, reviewing your copy, and mapping out your current sales process. And then we take everything you've told us and we use it to design a custom marketing campaign that's specific to your business. And then we take that campaign and we give you a complete custom blueprint showing you exactly how your new campaign works. Here are some examples of some of the blueprints we've recently created for clients just like you. So you're probably wondering, why would we do this? Well, in the interest of full transparency, this is how we get clients. See, instead of trying to convince you of how great it is to work with us, I prefer to help you in advance for free and let the value of that experience do the selling for me. And after you get your blueprint, your custom marketing campaign, one of these 3 things will happen. The first possibility is you think the blueprint's no good and that we wasted your time. Now, this has literally never happened, but in the event you feel your time was wasted, I'll immediately send you $200 as compensation for the hour or so we spend together. Now, the second possibility is you might decide to use the blueprint to build the new campaign by yourself. If that's the case, I wish you the best of luck and I'll be happy to have helped you. And the third and most common scenario is you're so thrilled with the blueprint that we make for you that you'll ask to become a client. And here's how that works. As a client, we first take the campaign we designed and blueprinted for you. That looks usually something like this. And then we actually build it for you from scratch. This is 100% custom built specifically for you. And it's all built in-house. Nothing is outsourced and all the work is done under my direct in-person supervision right here in my office. And we start by doing all the tech stuff. We'll be building everything for you in Infusionsoft. And don't worry, if you don't have it already, we'll get it set up for you for free. Now, this normally costs around $1,800, but because of the relationship we have with Infusionsoft, we're able to waive that setup fee for you completely. So this means we build all of your opt-in forms for you, your order forms, we set up the follow-up system for you, we build the autoresponders for you, anything that's technical, we go ahead and we build for you, and then we just integrate everything so it just works. Now, next we build your web pages. That means we build your opt-in pages, your video pages, your sales pages, your pre-launch pages, your webinar pages, your upsell pages, everything. We build all of the web pages that are associated with the campaign. Now, the final phase is the copy. The good news here is your campaign will come preloaded with my fill-in-the-blanks copy templates that are based on actual winning campaigns that I've created for myself and or clients. All of the campaigns, incidentally, have been multi-million-dollar campaigns. So your fill-in-the-blanks templates are based on multi-million-dollar campaigns that have been created. So all you do is edit my templates to be relevant to your business, and you're off to the races. Now, this includes your email copy, your pre-launch copy, your autoresponder copy, your webinar copy, your opt-in copy, you name it. I've covered every copy angle, so you don't have to, but it doesn't stop there. As a client, you get so much more. In addition to building your customized campaign for you, we're also installing 7 other campaigns into your business for you. And each of these campaigns are fully integrated as well. We build and install your web pages for each campaign for you. As a matter of fact, let me show you some of them. We begin with the auto launcher. This is a campaign where you can automate the entire product launch process so that you can send cold traffic to an opt-in page. They go through an automated product launch complete with expiration dates, countdown timers, scarcity, early bird lists, you name it, and it all runs behind the scenes for you on autopilot. Next, we have the legendary survey siphon. This campaign is awesome. It's designed to create massive goodwill by actually engaging your audience and asking them what they want. And then it's also built to use that goodwill to make 4 separate product offers. It's really, really powerful. The third campaign is the legendary 4-day cash machine. This is essentially a reason why based discount sale offer. And you can use this whenever you want quick cash, or you can bolt it on to the end of an existing campaign to sell the product that they didn't buy the first go around at a discount. The next campaign is the Goodwill campaign. This is perfect for people who use high-ticket consultative sales processes to sell very expensive things, such as attorneys or professional service providers like consultants. This is also useful as a buffer between 2 of these other campaigns to reset your prospect's attention and maintain goodwill while still making an offer for a non-related product. The next campaign is the Invisible Offer campaign. This is an incredibly effective campaign that is used to simulate an in-person human dialogue by email to make the sale, but it's all done via automation. It's one of the most powerful and most sophisticated campaigns you'll ever see, and quite frankly, it's the secret weapon behind why most of our campaigns are so successful. The next campaign is the 4-day cash machine 2.0. This uses the principle of engagement and behavioral tracking to offer a discount for a product that people have raised their hand and behaviorally demonstrated that they're interested in. This always produces excellent results in my business, and I'm sure you're absolutely going to love it. And the final campaign we install for you is the automated webinar campaign. And this is based on my own ultimate webinar blueprint formula, which includes the pre-webinar indoctrination sequence so that you can have a much higher show-up rate on your webinars, as well as the post-webinar follow-up sequence that includes objection handling sequences and a countdown sequence so you can really maximize sales from people who attended but didn't buy. And guess what? Each of these 7 campaigns comes with its own set of opt-in pages, sales pages, video pages, content marketing pages, upsell pages, everything. There are over 30 web pages in all, and they're all pre-installed and integrated into your Infusionsoft account for you. So all you have to do is simply change my web page copy templates on each page to be relevant to your offer, and you're done. And hey, speaking of copy, great news. Each campaign also comes preloaded with all of my swipe files as well. This includes your email copy, your pre-launch copy, your autoresponder copy, your webinar copy, your opt-in copy, everything. But there's still more. We even get together with you in person where I personally help you tweak your offer and your copy. Plus, we give you weekly calls to help you with anything you need and to update you on cool new discoveries and new stuff that's working. Now, if you decide that you like the blueprint so much that you want to become a client, and if we feel that we're a good fit and that we can actually help you, If all of that comes to fruition, then the cost to do this is just 3 payments of $58.60. However, you should know this is not a sales pitch in disguise. In fact, like I said, at the end of our conversation, if you tell me we wasted your time, I'll give you $200 immediately as compensation. No strings attached. However, there is a catch to the offer, and that is we simply can't help everyone. In order for us to do this for you, you've got to meet the strict but very reasonable criteria. Here it is. First, you need to have a legitimate business. Keyword here is legitimate. That means no get-rich-quick stuff, no porno, no hate-related items, and nothing that's out of compliance with standard regulations. We have no interest in helping the bad guys get worse. Now, second, you must actually have a business. That means you're selling stuff. Preferably, you're doing at least 6 figures in annual income or more. And finally, you need to have forward momentum. That means you're currently advertising, you're getting traffic, you're making sales, and you simply want more. And that's it. So if this sounds interesting to you, here's what to do next. I'm going to ask you for a real person deposit of $100. Now, don't worry. I'm not in it for your $100. I don't want your $100. I don't care about your $100. You can have it back as soon as we talk, or if you ask for it before then, we can have it back. In fact, you can have it back under any circumstance known to man. I don't care about the deposit. I'm just using it as a filter to keep the time wasters at bay. So once you leave your refundable deposit, you'll be taken to a really brief questionnaire. This is nothing intrusive, and it takes about 30 seconds to fill out, and it simply helps me prepare for our session together. Next, when you're done with that, you'll either hear from my CEO, her name's Aurora, or from my head of development, his name is Joe. They'll simply get you on the schedule for a call with my office, and after you talk with my office, one of these 3 things will happen. Now, like I said, the first possibility is you love the blueprint and you decide to build everything by yourself. If that's the case, we'll be thrilled that you're happy and we'll wish you the best of luck, and naturally we'll refund your deposit. The next possibility is you love the blueprint and you want us to build your campaign for you and implement everything. If that's the case, we'll get started immediately, and we'll set up a time to meet with you in person as well. And the third scenario has never actually happened, but that's where you might tell us we wasted your time and that the blueprint wasn't helpful at all. Hey, if that happens, we'll immediately give you double your deposit back. So clearly, you have nothing to lose by having us create this customized marketing plan and blueprint for you, and that's why you should click the link below and go ahead and get started today. So as you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and answer some frequently asked questions. The first one is a lot of people ask me, well, what are the campaigns actually like? This one that you're going to build me custom, what's it like? And the answer to that is, well, it depends, of course, on your business type, but I can tell you this. All of the campaigns keep our fundamental principles in mind, and here they are. Fundamental principle number 1 is that our revenue is in direct proportion to the amount of offers that we present to our marketplace. So first of all, these campaigns are designed to present your offer through multiple conversion points. So instead of just sending people to a sales letter or a sales video one time, we take that philosophy and then we approach the sale from multiple angles, which means we're able to ask for the order through multiple channels in each campaign, which of course increases the likelihood of you making the sale. Now, the second guiding principle that we always adhere to is that our income and revenue is also in direct proportion to the amount of goodwill that we have in the marketplace, and that the amount of goodwill is in direct proportion to the amount of value that we provide to the marketplace. So not only are these campaigns designed to make sales for you and do so consistently and do so at a rate that you've never seen before, they're also designed to continuously provide value to their marketplace, whether they buy from you or not, therefore increasing the goodwill that you have with your marketplace, therefore increasing your brand loyalty and increasing your revenue over time. So all of these campaigns are very, very friendly. They're always designed to be helpful. So even if someone goes through your campaign and doesn't buy, they should like you more after the campaign than they did before the campaign. So this is unlike anything you've ever seen, where usually at the end of the campaign, the prospect has felt like he was beaten up. With these campaigns, the prospect thinks, man, that was great. What nice people. That wasn't right for me this time, but I'm always going to keep them in mind for next time because I really, really like them. So the next question is, how do I know this is right for my business? And, I'd love to be able to say blindly, oh, this is going to be perfect for you. But quite frankly, we haven't had a chance to really see what your business is all about. So I'm not about to insult your intelligence and blindly promise you this is going to be great. What I will do, however, is set aside some time for us to take a look at what you've got going on, build a customized blueprint and process map, and give you a custom overview of a campaign for you to see for yourself exactly how this might be beneficial to you. And if you see the value in that and you feel that, hey, this is really right for me, this makes sense for me, then we can proceed and you can become a client or not. No pressure either way. But the best way for you to really tell if this is right for your business is to go ahead and try it. Like I said, you have absolutely no risk in doing so. In fact, if you think the experience was a waste of your time, I'll give you $200. Now, the third question is, how can I best prepare for my conversation with your office? And that's a great question. I'm glad you're asking it. See, if you decide that you want us to build this blueprint for you, then immediately after you speak with Aurora or Joe to get on the schedule, go ahead and send us a little bit of background on what your business is like. Go ahead and send us some of the best promotions you've ever done. Go ahead and send us what you want to accomplish, what you want your goals to be, and let us know where your stumbling blocks are. Like I told you earlier, every single person who has ever been through this blueprinting process with us has been thrilled. We've never, ever in the history of this company had someone say that we wasted their time, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is, this is really, really beneficial, and we actually prepare for it and do a very, very good job. So if you'll send us that information, we'll go through it and have a lot of ideas already in the hopper for you to help you with before you even show up for the call. So the more you give us, the better job we can do for you when we get in conversation with you in our office. And by the way, speaking of that conversation, here's how it works. It's not actually done over the telephone. We meet with you live online via GoToMeeting, and we share the screen with you so you can see us actually build this blueprint before your eyes. We use a little process mapping program called Lucidchart. And while we're doing that, we're actually adding copy notes for you and adding ideas for you. And then when we're done with that, we export that as a PDF and email it to you so you can have it. So it's something that you have tangibly to use and reference over and over again, no matter what you decide to do going forward. Now, the final question we hear is, how soon will I hear from your office? And it really depends on what time of day you get everything to us. So if you go ahead and you submit that questionnaire to us and it's in the morning on a business day, you can usually expect to hear from us that same day. If it's at the end of the day, or if it's at the end of the day on a Friday or something, it's going to be the next business day. So you can expect to hear from us either today, if you go ahead and fill it out today, or by tomorrow, of course, depending on what day of the week it is and what time of day you're doing everything. But bottom line is, pretty quick. We like to have a pretty fast turnaround here, so you won't be waiting very long at all. So thank you so much for watching this video and for deciding to do this. I know you're going to absolutely be thrilled with the blueprint that we build for you, and if you decide to become a client, then I know you're really going to be thrilled with that. And either way, I look forward to meeting you in person sometime soon. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.
So let me tell you how that works. I've set aside some time for my office to personally design an advanced automated marketing campaign for you for free.